Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? Okay, so I've been wanting to do this live for a while, and I just keep putting it off. And um, if you just put things off and put them off, and then you don't ever get to them. So I'm gonna do it tonight. So I hope you guys are preparing, and we are, whoop 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 whoop, it's hump day. So middle of the week, and tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be winding down to the weekend. And all right, so there's a few things. There's a few things that I want to do. Um, One is to quit saying okay, so apologize about that. I know it's irritating. It's as can be. So what I've been really wanting to do, I'm not looking at the. So let me say hello. Hi, Kathy. Hello, Liz. Muffin Top. Charlie Faith. Welcome. Hey, Diane. Good to have you. Hi, Desire of the Heart. Gearhead. Welcome back, Gearhead. Main Girl. Yvette. Welcome. Okay. Now then. Um, so I've been wanting to go back through this interview because hindsight is quite often 2020, right? Hey, Jackie Blue. Ooh, Jackie Blue. All right. So hindsight is quite often, 2020, right? Sometimes being able to see things after facts come out, it kind of changed your perspective a bit. This was actually, uh, um, hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I know it's irritating. I apologize. Um, so this was the let me make sure I'm even in the stream. Okay, so this was the first interview that Sammy or any of the kids associated with the disappearance of Kylie. This was really one of the first times that we saw her talk and got some information. I think I'm not going out on a limb to say that most people walked away from this feeling very uncomfortable, right? So, just out of curiosity, you guys that are in here, after you saw this, were you feeling like there might be a problem? If you watched this interview the first go around and you were like, oh, okay, this wasn't normal, put a one. If you felt like it was perfectly fine and not a problem at all, put a two. And let's see where we are. Hey, Laura, good to see you. Um, hey, Elizabeth Gregory, welcome. Jana Banana, welcome. Ones, yes, 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 yes. Misconduct, my favorite kind of conduct. Okay. Hey, Lorelai. Lise Dejanure, welcome. Okay. Bobby, welcome, Bobby. Hey, Becky. Hi, Bippy. Ooh, all these bees. Hi, hi, DB. Okay, so we got lots of ones. Yeah, so hey, legendary side effect, welcome. I'm going to be sick. You're going to be sick? Well, try to lay down and put your feet up, okay? Just take the load off. Just relax a bit, all right? Okay. Um, I'm going to be sick. Rather be alive. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sorry. Okay, Bobby Cash. Sketty Nona, Christy, Lula Roo, welcome. All right, lots of people still coming in. Man, we are taking our time. So let me say this. So this we kind of all had the same shared experience. This was a strange interview, and so I want to go back through it now, knowing all that we know, and see if our opinion has changed. See if our opinions have changed. Oh, can you hear the birds, Amber Dawn? I'm so sorry. They're usually really quiet at night. I don't know why they're still talking, but at least it's not squawking, right? Okay. All right, everybody. So it's good to see you guys, and let's go ahead and get started. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. Okay.
Beginning, I guess, real quick, just give us a rundown.
Totally, yeah. So Kylie is one of my.
I have a screen. I have a touchscreen computer that sometimes I accidentally touch the wrong part and it moves to film. So sorry about that.
What can we do to help you?
To everyone at this point around the world, I'm hoping that this is reaching. And
nonetheless, I know you're pressed for time, and everybody's wanting to know what's the latest. What is
now? I wish Tony would have been quiet.
Kylie,
he
Rodney,
way too much and dominated.
Let's go back to the beginning, I guess, real quick. Just give us a rundown.
Totally, yeah. So Kylie is one of my close friends. We met through mutual friends, and we became closer in the past year to come.
Okay. Weirdest answer I've ever heard in my life. Okay, well, we met through mutual friends and we became good friends last year to the coming months, to the last few weeks, to the present. Well, what I think is happening here is I'm thinking that she's thinking about a future police investigation. And if she says, oh, yeah, we've been friends a long time, or we were friends last year, well, a real police investigation, it's not going to take long to turn up. Actually, no, Sami and Kylie, they are not friends. So I think she's trying to figure out the right answer that it's not going to look funny in a police investigation. So she starts out with, we're great friends for the last year.
Months recently, and she is just a light in a lot of people's lives. She's
what? Is that the way you would describe your best friend? Is it? Or even a good friend? My friend is a light. My friend is a light in everyone's life, eyes. No, this is a 16-year-old. Sami's 18 years old. She's not a light in everyone's eyes. She's a kid, a really smart kid who's talented. She's not a light. She's partying. She's dating. She's not she's not a Mother Teresa. This is very odd answering.
Wonderful. She's smiling all the time. She's caring. She's beautiful. She's there for anybody who has ever needed her. She's very outgoing. She's outdoorsy too. She loves the water. She loves to sing. Her voice is just amazing too. And she's just a beautiful girl, and we all miss her a lot. And so,
yeah, I'm sure
y'all miss her a lot. She's only been gone a few days, and you really were not friends with her. You didn't follow each other on social media. I don't know what you're talking about.
You saw her at the party.
Look at the look on her face. She is shooting daggers at someone. I think there's somebody looking in the window at her like, what are you doing? And I think she's giving them a look like, don't you dare. Do not come over to this car. Stay away. Is that what she looks like? She looks mad. She is warning somebody. I mean, like a snake.
You're right. You were at the party with her?
Yes, I was the last person to contact.
Oh, look, there's the person she was warning away. Did you see him?
her after the party, and
Right there. He got warned off. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time looking at individual guys. I did look at her brother, a guy, Nathan, somebody that you guys I haven't seen anybody else talk about, but it's another Nathan. A guy, I'm not going to say, I'm not ready to say, but I haven't looked at like just pulling kids out of individual photographs. I do think Zav Girl has got videos where they have, and Olivia, Chronicles with Olivia, they have done a really good job, I think, of identifying some very specific people, but we haven't really looked at this guy. He's not very big, blonde hair, looks like it's really curly. So we may want to remember him and see what we can come up with, because the look on her face was telling.
Was with her basically throughout the entire party. Sorry.
Oh, let me bring up another point while this is showing. Let me make sure y'all can see this. You can. Okay. Now, I want to draw attention. I have actually spent quite some time with this picture. Now, Tony Dodge, he inserted this photograph over Sami. I wouldn't have done that, but hey, it's his channel. He can do what he wants to do, right? Now, let's make use of this time. I almost did a live one day on nothing but this picture, but I decided not to. But since it's up, I just want to see what you guys think about this. I met Tyler today on Zav Girl's panel, and I watch him all the time. I'm a regular there. I don't talk to people in the chat very often. I'm really there to listen. And so it was good for me to meet him and say hello, and all that. So nice guy. And I made the observation to Zav that, he's a really cool guy to have on your panel, because he's sort of like this calming weight. He kind of keeps you from falling off into wild speculation, right? He's very pointed about, I can't confirm it or deny it, or maybe we can confirm this, or it doesn't make any difference to talk about that because we'll never be able to confirm it. So he's a really good guy to sort of keep the conversation very logical and rational. So he wouldn't be happy about what I'm about to say. Okay. I'm just going to own it. But I have admitted that I do like speculation. I don't get too crazy with it. I always keep the facts front and center. And I am always very specific to say, hey guys, this is speculation. I am engaging in wild speculation right now. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, as opposed to times when, no, what I'm saying is truthful and I'll own it. I got some problems with this picture. Some of it is because it's moving and it's moving and so it distorts, the view a little bit. One of the things that stands out really big to me is, what's wrong with this hand? Does it look like it's upside down? It looks like this is her pointer, and then it looks like her pinky is folded in, but it's just an optical illusion. I think it's her pointer finger that's folded under, and then she just happens to have really long, pretty fingers. But when I first looked at that, I had a hard time going, why does that hand look wrong? It looks like the thumb ought to be down here. But it's just an illusion. Like I said, she's moving. It's not a very good quality camera. But it's kind of funny to look at, because when you start looking at it, then it gets really weird. Now, the main thing that I've spent a great deal of time looking at, it's my opinion. I think this picture has been modified. I got a couple of reasons for that. I definitely acknowledge it's very low quality, and because of that, you're not going to get a lot of details. But there's one thing I cannot explain, and I've tried. All these other things I can explain. I can explain the weird upside down hand. It's not really upside down. It's just the way she's got her finger folded under that throws your perception off. I think that her shoulder looks a bit odd here. Looks like it was, cut off in place from something else. Again, it's just poor lighting, strange movement, bad quality camera. Same thing with the blurring and how thin her arm looks compared to what we really know she looks like. You see how it looks like it's blurring onto the color of the floor here. Again, that's just artifacts from the movement. It looks bad. It looks, messy, but there's a really good explanation for it. It's easy to come to terms with. But here's what I don't understand. It's related to her clothes. Okay. So she's wearing green Dickies. And I don't know why Sami says, oh, except for the pants, she was wearing green Dickies. Well, these are green Dickies. This is the color green. So I don't know what that's about. And then here is the grommeted belt, right? And you can see the supposed grommets right here. So her pants are really low on her hip. But what is this right here? Now we know that this is her bodysuit, right? Which looks normal. That in terms of proportion and all that, it looks perfectly exactly like it should look. Nothing weird about it. The weird part comes from this. This is the weird part. So I'm gonna look back at chat. What do you guys think it is? Yeah, clearly it's her hip. It is skin, the white, the flesh colored strip right here. That's her skin, right? I agree. But what is this black triangle right here above the pant, the waistline on the pant, above the belt? What's this right here? Let me see if I can make it bigger. You see where the belt is. The pant and belt are right here. So this is black, and you can see a little bit of skin through it. And then this is the black bodysuit where it's not, it's not like see-through like lace would be. I think this looks like lace. Maybe panties. It's a bodysuit, Jules, so that's part of her hip on the bottom of the bodysuit. Yeah, I agree, Sharmi. New fleshlight is working great. Let's go, Brandon. Yee. I don't know what you're saying. The end of the belt. Pants just budge up. Panties. Tabitha says panties. Thong panty on her hip. Underwear, I bet. Okay, so all the women are in agreement. It looks like lace underwear. It just looks like panties with a lace, band at the top, right? If you think that looks like lace underwear, put a 1. Yeah, the lace panties, high cut. There you go, Instagramma. If you think that looks like she has on these lace panties that are peeking out above her pants, the belt, put a 1. If you don't have any idea what it is, put a 2. And we're just guessing. We are engaging in wild speculation, people. None of this would ever make it into a court of law. Right? Now, Mike is with it. Mike is paying attention. Hi there. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, little buddy? That's what I say to Drover when he is happy to see me. Hey, buddy. Hey, BBT Boston. Oh, my God, BBT. Oh, my God. You mean somebody is running around out there in the world threatening other people with their very lives all over little old me? That was so dumb. Hey, Jill, welcome. This is wearing a unitard top that snaps under the crotch, high-waisted. I have something similar. Thank you very much. This, not that. Okay. I think it's a crop top and lace underwear. Now, okay, bodysuit with panties. Why? See, this is Randy. So we got Randy, we got Mike. So all the women are on board. We know what this is. All the men are going, but wait a minute. That looks like seriously uncomfortable, right? Well, that's my problem. Hold on a second. Just a second. Hold on. Okay, Bill. All right. So that's the problem, right? Hey, Jay Silverheels. If Sami died, Keely would then be listed as top gangster girlfriend and looked at. That's an interesting perspective, Jay. Thank you. Okay. Panties and bodysuit doesn't make sense to me. Now, Ceresia and I were communicating. Okay. Lulu says, or I'm sorry, Lola says, I'm a woman, a lady, and I call BS on this whole picture. Okay. Please refrain from speaking of other YouTube creators and their content. Thank you, Muffin Top. I appreciate your help. Okay, now that this is a weird to we women, okay, and some of you guys have picked up on this. That would be a really uncomfortable combination, right? Because you're wearing this libtard, or it's called a bodysuit, but essentially it's a libtard, okay? You're wearing a bodysuit so that the top stays really smooth and really pretty and looks like it's all tucked in and looks nice, right? But if you got to go to the bathroom or anything, you actually have to like undo these snaps that are at the crotch and between the thighs. You have to undo the snaps, and then it pulls up just like it would be, you know, a tank top, a t-shirt. And then when you're done, you pull it back down. I can honestly say, when you're talking about girls that do dance, girls that wear bodysuits as a, you know, fashionable, really nice, appealing, you know, tucked in look, you don't wear underwear with it, right? It would be the problem would be that the bodysuit would pull the underwear and make you really uncomfortable, and it might even like cause sores, like where the skin is rubbed and rubbed and rubbed. So hard to believe that you would. I have literally, I don't think I have ever seen dancers or anyone wearing a bodysuit wear underwear. It would be too uncomfortable. Queen of Hearts says, hold on, let me see, Queen. Hold on. Queen of Heart, those pants are not her style. Her legs are not that big, and her pockets are stuffed full. Now you're bringing me to the second point of the picture. Thank you, Queen of Hearts. So again, my first real issue that I'm having trouble making sense of is to me, this really does look like lace. It really does. It makes sense to me that that's exactly where you would see a lace band on underwear on your hips. It looks like it should be there until you factor in the fact that she's wearing a bodysuit. Way too uncomfortable. Never seen a female do it. I've not once. Never seen it. So this is odd to me. I feel like the picture has been modified. I do, but I'm also intelligent and I recognize that poor camera equipment, movement, um, it you get a lot of weird anomalies. I admit that, but this you can't explain away. This is clearly supposed to look like lace underwear on her hips. No woman would wear this combination. They just wouldn't. Now, I did it again. Did y'all see that? There we go. Okay. Now then, the other thing that is really difficult to understand, but I'm going to say that I couldn't accept it. I don't it feels wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and accept it. Depending on how high up the camera is looking down on her, this does not look like her body type at all. She is this very tall girl, 5'7", very lean, not round, not hippie. I don't mean like bohemian. I mean like fat distribution. She's not curvy. I mean, you can see in that gorgeous black dress she's wearing, she's got a very long, lean, really, really cute, model type, statuesque type of a figure. This looks like a girl who's curvier, right? A larger bottom, bigger thighs. It just doesn't look like her. It doesn't look like her. So yeah, her legs, the angle of her thighs here don't even come even remotely close to how long and thin her legs are. It is definitely a girl that is, more, like a pear shape, right? But it's poor quality camera. It's video surveillance, and she's moving. It looks like she's actually kind of running a little bit. You see how blurred her foot is. There are some lines in this. You see that line? Well, y'all can't see because I'm on the wrong page. You see this line right here? There's a straight line that goes all the way up. It looks like it's been, you see how smooth this is over here? But you go to this side of the line and it's almost like blue jeans. The creasing in it is really, really noticeable. But over here, it's very, very smooth. I just don't think it looks right. And, as Tyler said, this is something that we as civilians would never have access to be able to confirm it or deny it. We don't have any way of judging. It's just more of the strangeness of this entire case. I also think there's a real problem. No, I haven't seen anybody say this, but what's wrong with her hair? This is not her hair based on the way that her Instagram and Jagger's Instagram was in the day or two before she went missing. Her hair's not this short. Her hair actually is very long. So again, weird. Just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why you have clean lines over here on shirts, but then you get over here to the wall and you can't make out what this is at all. So there's some problems. I'm willing to say it's all, tack it up to bad equipment and the fact that she looks like she may be running, but that doesn't explain why her hair is so short. And it certainly doesn't explain why in the world she would be wearing underwear with a bodysuit. It's not likely. All right. So weird things in this case. right? That's what we're talking about.
Wearing this at the night of the party? Is that what she was wearing?
Yeah, so that top is exactly what I saw her in. If you can see on her left side, on her hip, you can see some skin. She was wearing a black bodysuit. I remember because we went to the bathroom together, peed in the woods together a couple of times, and so that's her shirt right there. The pants were different that she wore to the party. She was wearing green Dickies pants, but that
Now that's weird to me, right? I mean, she's saying these are the wrong pants. She was wearing green Dickies. The problem is these are green Dickies. I mean, you can Google it. Look up green Dickies and you'll see it's an army green kind of color.
belt is definitely what she was wearing too. I remember watching her have to take it off when we were using the restroom together. We were out using the outdoor restroom, if like popping squat, basically. So yeah.
That was just released from the Placer County Sheriff's Office. This picture, I just found it on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
So there's talk about this top, the spaghetti straps top. Some people are saying it was found at the area. Can you confirm that, or is that
so that has not been confirmed. If it has not been posted on our Find Kylie Rodney Instagram page or on the website or on the Placer County Sheriff's Office Facebook or anything, then it is not true, and it is not something that people should be following on or trusting. The information will be posted and will be coming from us when it is confirmed. So to let people,
it will be coming from us. So even now, in these very first early days, and this was August 9th, shocking, isn't it? August 9th, she's doing this interview. Remember, it was the 6th at 12:30 that someone turned her phone off, and she ostensibly went in the water. Supposedly, the last known location was right there where they found her car. However, AWP not only found Kylie, but also ended up finding a guy who claims that he actually spoke to Kylie and saw her green CRV at about 11 o'clock on the 6th. So we may actually have a different last known location. But now the cops haven't commented on that, right? We're just going by what the interview was with AWP. So in this right now on August 9th, as she's giving this interview to this rando Tony, small channel, a nobody, so to speak, she's doing this interview. I don't know about you, but I think if my parents were attorneys and I was a graduating senior from high school and one of my friends was now gone, missing, I don't think my parents would have allowed me to do interviews for a YouTube channel. I think I would have been told, hey, be quiet, do what the cops tell you to do, and don't interfere in this investigation. Correct? So it to me, when I think about when this interview actually occurred, it's even more shocking. Knowing what we know now, it's even more shocking that on the 9th, she's doing this interview with a relatively unknown YouTube creator. Now, at the time this came out, people just thought he was, at his house in another state doing an interview, and that she was in Truckee, California doing an interview. And they were at a search, everybody looking for Kylie. Well, now it's been revealed that Rando Tony was actually also in Truckee at the time of this interview. That's right. They have found proof that his social media did automatic check-ins in Truckee I believe it's on the 7th and the 9th. Crazy. He has never, not once, alluded to or given the impression that he was in Truckee or that he visited Truckee or that he checked in at Truckee. Not once. It's always been this idea he's just far away in some house somewhere and nowhere near Truckee, California. And now we know that on the day this interview was done, Sami and Tony were in Truckee, California. Crazy, isn't it? Well, on the one hand, that does open up, how did he get this interview with her, being a relatively unknown, when you had big channels that were clamoring to try to get some of these interviews? So it'd be very interesting to know, Tony, how it is that you had a connection to Sami, that she was willing to do an interview with you, or that her parents were willing to allow that. It's just a question. It's not anything accusatory. It's just, it is an automatic check-in that's done. The app does it, and you were in Truckee twice. You had 2 different days. It's very strange.
People know what to look out for, if a changed shirt or something. So yeah, that has not been confirmed.
Okay. Perfect. So at the night of the party, the last time you saw her, can you tell us about?
Now, did you see her mouth? She's preparing. She doesn't know what's about to happen, but to hold her lips really tight like that, it's a reminder. Be careful.
I guess give us a rundown of the party real quick. What I understand it was a large gathering.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be a senior farewell party where all the seniors and everybody from around our area, like Tahoe and Truckee and Incline and Kings Beach, were supposed to be there. They were invited there because
she's thinking, oh hell, why were they invited there? They were invited there because, so let's see what she comes up with. She's still thinking, hasn't quite decided why they were all invited.
It was supposed to be like saying goodbye to your favorite seniors before everybody starts going off to college, because soon enough here people are going to start leaving and moving out. And so Kylie's a senior, or she graduated early, so she's considered a senior, and I was a senior, so every senior was initially invited to the party.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a good story. I got this. She even actually shakes her head yes. She realizes once he comes up to it with an explanation, okay, I'm in the clear. And you can see it. She's looking for an answer, how she's going to voice this. And then when she comes up with something she feels comfortable with, she shakes her head yes.
And Incline and Kings Beach were supposed to be there. They were invited there because it was supposed to be like saying goodbye to your favorite seniors before everybody starts going off to college, because soon enough here people are going to start leaving and moving out. And so Kylie's a senior, or she graduated early, so she's considered a senior, and I was a senior, so every senior was initially invited to the party. And as well,
did you see it? It's amazing. The body language, it never lies.
All grades were invited, just so that it was.
So now she has to add a little more.
They could say goodbye. So I had talked with Kylie, and I had known she was going beforehand. We hadn't planned on going together, and we ended up not going together.
Okay, I want to talk about this. So let's say that you're at a movie theater. Okay, you and your friend or your husband or whatever, y'all go to the movie on Saturday night. And while you're at the movie on Saturday night, there's a wreck in the parking lot. And you don't see it, but you see the aftermath, right? All the crowd comes around and is looking, and all that. So the cops come up to you and they say, excuse me, I think that you were here when this accident happened. And you say, well, I'm here with my husband and we didn't see the wreck. We were watching the movie and my best friend did not see the wreck. We did not plan on coming to the movie with my best friend, and we didn't come to the movie to see my best friend. But you should talk to her. Now, if you were listening to that nonsense, if you were the police officer and you were listening to that, you would say to yourself, okay, here's a person who's claiming they didn't see what happened. They're with their husband. They didn't see what happened. But they tell me that they were not supposed to come to the movie with their best friend, and they did not come to the movie with their best friend. So why the hell is she bringing up the best friend? And right then and there, the cop would be like, okay, this lady is sketch. The way she's talking is nuts. We better take her in for questioning. And I'd be hauled down to the house. It doesn't make sense. Oh, we didn't plan to ride together and we didn't ride together. What? So I'm just curious. Somebody give me an explanation for that unusual semantics. What is it you guys think that she was trying to say? You see, Diane said something. Hold on. There we go. I'm looking. I think there is a pedo group and a satanic cult in those woods. Kylie was going to Hot August Nights. It was the last minute plan to go to the party. Yeah, voice for the voiceless. So I think this is a really interesting point that not very many people have been talking about. Her mother and stepdad, they were there at the car show, right? And she was supposed to be at the car show. And apparently Lindsay talks often about loving car shows, like that's kind of a thing that they all enjoy. But who is not at the car show? Do y'all know who's not at the car show? Apparently, Jagger is not at the car show. But there's actually Instagram footage of him with his car at multiple car shows. It's something that he took an old beat up like 1970 car and completely refurbished it and then took it to car shows. I mean, the guy, that's kind of his thing, are cars. Isn't it odd that you've got the mom and the stepfather at the car show, and Kylie, the explanation was she was supposed to be at the car show. And then we find out that no, Jagger's not at the car show. He's fishing. It just isn't logical. Just isn't logical. All right. No.
She came with her best friend Mags Larson. Magdalene, sorry, is her first name.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and so she came with her, drove in with her, and then Mags ended up leaving about 10 minutes into the party with her boyfriend Ross, Mags's boyfriend, and told Kylie goodbye and everything, and they were never planning on like leaving together or staying together at the party.
And there we are again, back to the unusual semantics of telling us what was never done. That's got to be the strangest motivation that I've ever seen. How does one go through their day telling people what they never planned to do? I don't understand it. Do I have this wrong? Do some of you guys understand this type of talking that she's doing? If that Snapchat of Kate hooking up with Jagger is true. It puts him with Kate Friday night, the night of the party. Yeah, um, I think we can all agree that Kate and Jagger being in Reno with a camera crew, that was strange, wasn't it? I'm I have moments, I will tell you, I have moments where I think to myself, was she even did she even make it to the party? Did something happen there in Reno at the car show, at the festival, right? It, yes, but then we heard him say that the police have video that put, Kylie at the party wearing the Odd Future sweatshirt. So, but I'm telling you, every now and then I think it actually would make more sense that she would have ended up in Reno on that night rather than at that party. It's more, there were more things that connected her to Reno that night than we actually have there at the party. Shelley says no. She answers everything with way too many details and things that are not needed to answer the question. Yeah, I've not really ever seen somebody answer questions like this by saying, "Oh, we didn't plan to do that." I ordered groceries today, and I didn't plan to order buttermilk, and I did not order buttermilk. Does that seem nutty? Isn't that a strange way to answer? Yes, I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken today, and I did not plan on ordering chicken, and I did not order chicken. Okay, well, why are you even telling me about it then? If you went there, you didn't plan on eating, and you didn't eat. So you just wasted 5-7 seconds saying something that's just not even anything. Very odd. Yeah, she's taking us for a ride, all right. Yeah, well, it's weird how the lyrics on Lana Del Rey hoodie loaned to her seemed to foretell what was about to happen to her. No, and again, Catherine, don't you think that is just another aspect of control the narrative, control the narrative, control the narrative, control the narrative. In the beginning, as these things get fired up, tell the story. Tell the story you want them to know. Tell them what to believe about this crime. Tell them what to believe about this disappearance. Tell them what they should know about this victim. It's so contrived. It's brainwashing 101. The very first thing we learned about Kylie Rodney is a drunk driver. Kylie Rodney uses drugs. Oh, yeah. And she graduated from high school when she's 16 years old, going to a great college, plays music, talented. Wait a minute. You have told us that she had a very bad problem drinking and she was using drugs. But now you're telling us that she was very high achieving. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's not the way the brain works. But if you're trying to tell a story, that you want people to naturally believe, you start out early before the facts begin rolling out. You have to establish your story first. And then as facts begin to emerge, you make it fit in. Gas station camera on the way to the party doesn't make sense. That was 6:08. She didn't arrive at the party until what? 10ish? Where was she for 4 hours? Why, they were making creme brulee, Brie. Isn't that what you do before you go to a party? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. And at the rate that this investigation is not going, we probably will never know. And Rando Ronnie said she was drunk early in the day. See, for me, Diane, that was a big moment. That was an epiphany. Hold on just 1 minute. Okay. So that was my moment, Diane. As soon as those words came out of his mouth, and he was frustrated, he was irritated with Upchurch. As soon as he said because she was drunk early in the day. Well, okay, you just blew the hell out of your timeline. Your timeline that you established, not a timeline someone else established. And he tried to walk it back. He tried to say, oh, well, earlier, like 8, 9 o'clock. Okay, you're still not out of the woods there, Rando Ronnie, because she didn't even arrive at the party until 10:15. So what do you mean she's drunk earlier in the day? And he said it with such conviction, right? He said it, he was so specific. Weird. All right. Opinions are welcome as long as they are respectful. Thank you, Muffin. Sami drove Kylie's car with Kylie in the back away from the party and used Kylie's phone to text her mom. Yeah, I that's not a bad idea, Lainey. I think that's probably right up there at the top for me, as a potential. I will tell you that in the very beginning, at the time that this interview was done, I believed that it was an accident. Now, I wasn't altogether convinced that it was drunk driving, right? I wasn't sure that it was drunk driving. But what I thought was that something bad had happened, whether it was drinking or drugs or a fight, or she had even just tripped and hit her head on a rock, or whatever. And that it was the kids were reactive and they tried to cover it up. That was my initial belief about what was happening. The more that we learned what the police were not doing, the more uncomfortable it got, because I kept feeling like the cops were doing things that were sort of basic, and it just didn't seem like they wanted to find her. And of course, now at this point, I do believe, at the very least, there is someone powerful involved that helped the kids cover up what happened, or that this was actually a premeditated act and that Kylie was lured to the party that night. So I don't know which it is. I don't know if it's a powerful individual is involved, or it was a premeditated act with a method of disposal and hiding the crime. I think the tow truck driver is very interesting. And I trust AWP completely. And I can't believe that they would have included that tow truck driver or van driver. I do not believe that they would have included him on their documentary about Kylie unless they 100% thought that he was legit. I don't believe they would have done that. So they believe the van driver. And Jared said outright on Zab Girl's panel that Jagger was confirmed. He didn't use his name, but he said that they're sure that the guy saw, they know who the guy saw. He identified a picture, right? but they were still waiting on confirmation for the girl, which is very interesting. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because there are photographs that you can put Kate next to Kylie and they could be twins. All right, so let's continue to listen.
They just went to the party together because they were hanging out earlier in the day. And then I saw her the second she got there, and from that moment on, we were pretty much seen together all around the party. We would break off for mere moments from each other to go talk to other people or to go do other things, you know, but we would always come back to each other. We were just going around the party. We were drinking the same drinks, being teenagers, throwing gloves.
Got a few weird moments here. I think it's clumsy to say, you know, we broke away from each other for mere moments. That isn't just conversational English. Mere moments, it's like a story you're telling, right? It's like a script, like reads like a once upon a time, da 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 da. If you're talking about what you and your friends did on your vacation, you don't start by saying, well, once upon a time, me and my friends took a cruise to Bermuda. It's not how you talk. You would say, me and my friends, we took a cruise and went to Bermuda back last year in the summer, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of how I feel about this whole mere moments. That's a literary narrative. So it's curious. It's placed in an awkward way, right? Many people have commented on how awkward this, she drank what I drank. We were exchanging drinks the whole night we were together. We were seen together. We were seen together in the beginning. We were seen together here. We were seen together there. That's very strange and awkward.
Sticks into the party, and it started to grow really big. I would say around 10 to 10:30.
This is August the 9th. She has been gone 2 full days, right? So she may or may not have been seen on the 6th, but she was not seen on the 7th. She was not seen on the 8th, and she's doing the interview on the 9th. This is one of the first ones, and this is where she's telling the story. She is giving us the narrative that we are supposed to believe happened.
It just blew up. Like, it started to get to the point where I was getting overwhelmed, and I'm a very social person. I've been to a lot of these parties. I've never been overwhelmed. I've actually been underwhelmed, but at this party, it was very large. Like, it was bigger than any party we've had in Truckee all year, and for a lot of years past. There were people from what we think Sacramento, San Francisco. I remember talking.
What we think Sacramento. There were people there, what we think, from Sacramento. What made you think Sacramento? Like, what did you see that suggested Sacramento? Or do you just need there to be a focus somewhere away from the Truckee high school youth, the in crowd, the wild kids, the cool kids, the pretty group? Do y'all need a monster to blame this on?
Talking to somebody who was from San Francisco, Reno, Folsom, areas that were just way out of reach from it. And it was really overwhelming and weird to see, but I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, oh, kids are.
It was really overwhelming. It was really weird to see. These are her exact words, y'all. It was really overwhelming. And I'm not easily overwhelmed, I tell you. In fact, I'm often underwhelmed. But that night, that party, that moment, it was overwhelming. And not only was it overwhelming, it was weird. Now, let me ask you this. If something is overwhelming and outside of the norm, things that are that you would expect, but then it turns out that it's something completely unexpected? Is this going to be something you're going to ignore and not pay attention to? Or are human beings more likely to give full attention to the unexpected and unusual? Are human beings likely to give more attention to things that are bigger than usual? Actually, empirical research would tell you yes to both of those questions. We do pay attention to things when we encounter something that is outside of what we expect it to be. So they've been having these parties all along. It's a regular common occurrence. Everybody knows about it, including Rando Ronnie, who hasn't partied in 20 years. But by God, he went to those parties when he was a kid, and he knows what they're like. So even Rando Ronnie has been to the parties and knows what to expect. So certainly Sami has. But she's telling you right here, no, this party wasn't like the others. This party was overwhelming. This party was weird. Now she goes on to say, oh, but I wasn't really paying attention. It was overwhelming and weird, but no reason for me to pay attention.
Very social person. I've been to a lot of these parties. I've never been overwhelmed. I've actually been underwhelmed, but at this party, it was very large. Like, it was bigger than any party we've had in Truckee all year, and for a lot of years past. There were people from what we think Sacramento, San Francisco. I remember talking to somebody who was from San Francisco, Reno, Folsom, areas that were just way out of reach from it. And it was really overwhelming and weird to see, but I didn't really think much of it. I just thought,
oh, she just didn't think much of it. It was overwhelming. It was weird. But she's superhuman. Her neurological system is different than yours. Her brain does not attend to things out of the ordinary. Her brain apparently isn't stimulated by things that are bigger than normal. No, she's exactly like me. She's exactly like you. She's telling you it was a wild, big, huge party. She's telling you she was overwhelmed. She's telling you. For some reason, though, she wants us to believe that it was very laissez-faire. It was nothing. It's no big deal. It's just a little overwhelming. It's just a little bit weird. That's all. No. Come on. That's not right. So why is she telling us that she just didn't care? It wasn't that. She just wasn't paying attention.
Oh, kids are around here. They have vacation homes up here. They're just coming to party because why not?
Well, because it was really overwhelming and it was really weird. And it was probably just, vacationers going to their rental houses. Because why not? This is the strangest way to speak. Even especially for an 18-year-old intelligent young woman. So it's very, very odd.
So then Kylie and I were going around taking shots and just drinking. We were trading drinks with each other. We were sharing.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part. You can see where she's trying to remember what she's supposed to say.
Large, like it was bigger than any party we've had in Truckee all year, and for a lot of years past. There were people from what we think Sacramento, San Francisco. I remember talking to somebody who was from San Francisco, Reno, Folsom, areas that were just way out of reach from it. And it was really overwhelming and weird to see, but I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think much of it. Kids are around here. They have vacation homes up here. They're just coming to party because why not?
Why not?
So then Kylie and I were going around taking shots and just drinking. We were trading drinks with each other. We were sharing.
Oh yeah. you see that moment her eyes lit up? She remembered what she was supposed to say. I think she's operating, my opinion only, could be completely wrong. This looks like to me she has a memorized story. She's memorized a timeline, she's memorized a story, but she's struggling a little bit to remember some of her details.
Sharing drinks with each other. We would go back to her car to get some alcohol sometimes, and then
now she shakes her head there. I don't know if it's because it's a lie or something happened at the car that was bad, but watch her shake her head.
Around here, they have vacation homes up here. They're just coming to party.
It's so,
why not? So then Kylie and I were going around taking shots.
Look, she's going to remember.
We were trading drinks with each other.
Now I remember.
With each other. We would go back to her car to get some alcohol.
Shaking her head no.
And then we went to her car to charge her phone, and we were talking about just random stuff, and then it's kind of hard to remember. And so, or no, we were talking about her texting her mom and her charging her phone and stuff, and just about the party in general. And then we had a few other friends in the car, and then we all decided to go back to the party, and we were around in there for a bit. I had asked her for a ride home when we were in the car because my ride was leaving and I wanted to stay at the party longer.
Now, so she talks about them going back to her car because that's where they were filling up their drinks or whatever. When she talks about going there to get the drinks, she's shaking her head no. And it's slight, but it's distinctly no. Now, is she shaking because it's a lie? Maybe. There's no, but somehow what she was saying wasn't, it's not accurate to the truth. She's telling you that as she shakes her head no. What she's saying is not, it's not accurate. And her, the body leaks the truth. As she talks about being in the car with a couple of her other friends, going back to the party, it sounds like to me, the impression that I get listening to this is that they were in the car riding around. Now, I know what she said. Please don't get angry with me. I know she's saying they're walking back to the car to get drinks, and then they don't start it back up or anything, although they may, because they said they're charging it, right? But it just sounds, it seems to make more sense to imagine that they were going somewhere. They were driving somewhere, I think. To say when we got back to the party, well, how far away were they parked from the party? To say when we got back to the party sort of implies that you've been on a trip somewhere and come back. So it's a little sketchy. It's a little bit hard for me, but I definitely, when I listen to it, I definitely get the sensation that they were driving somewhere.
And so then we ended up splitting up in the party because I went to go find another ride when we got back into the party after leaving the car.
You see what I mean? Why would you be with your friends, texting your friends, mom, say we're going to, be leaving in 45 minutes. Hey, can I get a ride home? Kylie's like, sure, no problem. And then you split off from the girl you've just asked for a ride. She said yes. You split off and immediately go and search for another ride? What? Just doesn't make sense.
So that we could...
strangest look on her face. This intense, just so... Watch, I'm going to be really quiet, not interrupt, but watch her eyes and watch how she can't talk because she's thinking so intently. It's very strange.
Splitting up in the party because I went to go find another ride when we got back into the party after leaving the car, so that we could sorry, my mind is in a moment.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I want to take a couple of questions.
I really wish he had not interrupted her. We lost so much information. He just rescued her. Look at the look on her face. There is something really confusing going on with her. And he he just rescues her. I can't imagine why he did it, but he just took it all away from her and we lost it. She was right in the middle of that memory. Whatever happened to Kylie, I think happened right after they got to the party and she was looking for a ride. Something went wrong right there. You look at the distress on her face right there. She was deep in that memory. And even while he's now going to try to help her, look at the emotion on her face and her eyes. Something bad happened in that moment. You can see the distasteful look on her face right there. Something happened, in my opinion.
Here, real quickly.
See how long that bad look lasted on her face?
Noah in the chat wants to
Still
ask
there.
you.
She's still in that moment. Something happened, and she can't tear her thoughts away from it.
Who was fighting at the party? The girl and guy. Look into them. Was there a fight at the party?
Yeah, so there were some friendly fights that were going on. There was, like, we had boxing gloves. People were, like, trying to instigate. It wasn't anybody who had really any drama or they weren't enemies.
Well, you just said that people were trying to instigate it. Those are your exact words. You just said someone was instigating a fight.
Or anything. It was more just friendly fights to keep entertainment going. This happens at a lot of our parties. We just do it to have fun. If somebody gets hurt, like, we have people on them, but...
Oh, if somebody gets hurt, you have people on them. So people have gotten hurt in the past in your fights? This is so weird. Now, I watched a documentary about a guy, Philip Boudreau, Nova Scotia, got murdered by some lobster fishermen because Philip was stealing lobster from traps. This went on for a very long time, years. And local law enforcement, the state and federal fish and game wardens, nobody stepped in to stop this guy. And the local fishermen were getting angrier and angrier. It was costing them a lot of money, the lost traps, the lost lobster payment. The guy was making a true nuisance of himself. And to make a very long story short, a really good guy, a law-abiding, upstanding citizen in the community, friendly to everyone, helpful to everybody, good dad, good husband, just an all-around good business guy. He snapped. All of the lobster fishermen were hurting financially. He was robbing them blind. The law enforcement and the wildlife and fisheries, the federal game wardens were doing nothing to stop Philip and the stealing and poaching that he was doing, hurting other people, stealing from them, stealing their traps and their equipment. He snapped one day. He had had enough. And he not only killed Philip, but really tortured Philip before he finally died. He was ultimately convicted of manslaughter. This is after he ran over the guy with a boat 3 or 4 different times, shot him 4 times, and then tied an anchor around Philip's neck and dropped him 2 fathoms below the surface. To say it was overkill would be an understatement. There were 2 witnesses. One was a willing state's witness, direct, eyewitness. And the other tried to hide that it happened, but ultimately in the long run admitted it. And rather than murder charges, the jury went with manslaughter. Now, the prosecutors agreed that it was manslaughter. He got 14 years. He only served a fraction of that. And the prosecution agreed that it was because this guy's crimes had lasted for so long that the local fishermen and the business people that were the victims that were being stolen from by Philip for years and years and years, and law enforcement, the local police, no one would help. And they all said the same thing. Philip had it coming to him. Philip earned this. Philip worked a long time to get just exactly what he deserved. Now, the reason that I'm interjecting this into this Kylie Rodney disappearance story is this. When law enforcement does not do their job, people get hurt and die. Those cops knew these parties were happening. I believe it in my soul. They knew. It's a little town of 15,000 people. They knew that where those kids were partying. They knew there was illegal alcohol out there, and they knew there was drugs. But they overlooked it. They let it go. They looked in the other direction. Oh, kids will be kids. Just kid. They're just kids. They're doing Fight Club out there. People are getting hurt. They're just kids. Kids will be kids after all. Yet kids will do mushrooms and use glow sticks. Kids will be kids after all. How many times do we hear Sami herself say, oh, well, we were just doing what kids do? Where do you think she came up with a phrase like that? From her own family, that's where. From the adults in her life. Her own brother, September the 1st, pulled down 4 charges. Possession, paraphernalia. Oh, kids will just be kids. Kids are just going to do what kids do. The cops knew these parties were happening. They were overlooking it. They were allowing it to happen. They were allowing the Fight Club thing to happen. They were allowing the illegal drinking. They were allowing the drugs. People all the way from other cities were coming in for these parties. Believe me, the cops knew. If the cops had done their job to begin with, Kylie Rodney would not have died that night. All they had to do was shut those parties down. At the very least, make it known that they were making rounds so that these parties wouldn't get so big and out of control. I think this is another example of just like Philip. Nobody stepped in to tell Philip, hey, you cannot keep stealing lobsters from these fishermen. You may think you're stealing a couple of lobsters, but for them, you're destroying their business. You got to quit. We're going to arrest you the next time you show up with a bunch of lobster. But they didn't do that. And the anger and the animosity among the town people, the businessmen, just grew and grew and grew until it was a horrible, terrible event. It was bound to happen, whether it was going to be Kylie or somebody else. It was bound to happen that somebody was going to get hurt at one of these parties, because I think the cops were looking the other way. Maybe they were looking the other way because kids will be kids. Maybe they were looking the other way because it was their own son going to these parties, or it was their daughter organizing and going to these parties. Maybe their daughter was even making money selling illegal alcohol at these parties.
So it wasn't like a fight out of anger. It was just kind of a just a fun competition type of fighting.
Yeah, just see who wins and who goes home with the title, which I will candidly admit people do end up getting in fights over who won, but not this time.
Look at that face. Let's just play a game. Name that thought. You see that smug little smile on little Sami's face? Tell me what she's thinking right now. Y'all put in your own ideas. Name that smirk. What in the world is this child thinking about? Cat ate a rat? That's a good one, Kate. Not this time. I didn't lose the fight. What am I going to say and make up next? She's thinking, we're going to get away with this. Ooh, Travis, that was savage. Okay, I'm too good at this. I got away with it. We got this. Ooh, Kathy, that was savage too. Look at the smile on her face. Not this night. Nope. I know who the winner was this night. Right? Yeah, it goes home with the title. There you go. It was more than just an occasional fight, Shelley. I'm with you. Oh yeah, she is smug. Oh, so smug. She's thinking Kylie deserved what she got. I won. She's thinking, I won. I am smarter than Kylie. She said, not this time. So who's the one that got hurt? Yeah. A Barry Morphew technique. A nurse who lives in Truckee and works at the hospital there said that basically there is financial privilege going on in that community. Well, Hazel, I think we all had that feeling, didn't we? Yep. Can't stand when she said smart enough. Oh, she looks so smug. So smug. I think this is duping delight at its finest. Absolute duping delight. Absolute. I am the champion. I totally got away with this. Right?
Daniel Taylor.
Even there. Look at the lines here. See it? She is nasty. She is nasty. She's got a lot of anger in her, in my opinion.
And Nola, thank you for that comment. Daniel Taylor's in the house. Daniel Taylor wants to ask you, did Kylie have her boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend with her at the party?
No, there was no ex-boyfriend there. Her ex-boyfriend lived in Napa. He was in Napa at the time, and I think he lives in Napa. And he actually drove up the next day, the second he heard that she was missing. He's very close with her family and her. There was no anything. And she does not currently have a boyfriend. She was rocking the single life, like we used to say. She just wanted to,
like I used to say,
be open and single and have fun as a kid.
I get it. She's only 16. She's just a baby. I just can't even imagine. How's mom doing? Have you talked to her mom at all?
Yeah, so I've been in close contact with the family.
Ooh, there it is again. Dupe and delight. What's she smiling about this time? Oh, that was a good one to add. I'm in close contact with the family. That was something so good to say. I'm so glad I thought of that. It's wild.
How they doing? She looked like,
I mean, that smile lasted a long time.
Just a nervous wreck. I can't even imagine what she's going through.
Yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers are with, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say our thoughts and prayers are with the family. It's going to be a hard time. What can we do to help? What can the public do? The web sleuths out there. What can we do to help find Kylie? What can we do to help you?
To everyone at this point around the world, I'm hoping that this is reaching, and if anybody's seeing this, just if they can keep sharing this, get the story out to neighbors and friends and family and local news stations and local newspapers, and posting flyers, making flyers, screenshotting, and somehow making flyers. We need this information to spread everywhere. We're trying to get posters everywhere, information everywhere, just trying to have everybody in the world at this point looking for Kylie and just trying to find Kylie. And if anybody sees it.
But remember, the cops don't want you looking right there where they found her, right? Because that place has already been searched, like completely. But we're not sure if we put divers in Prosser. But we searched it, so no need to look here. But we don't know if we put divers in there. But we had swimmers in the water. We had swimmers with eyes in the water. But you don't have to look there. You can go to lots of other places to look, but you don't have to worry about looking here.
Anything to report it immediately to the sheriff's, the police, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, or the numbers that have been loaded on. There's been a lot of trouble and frustration with people about the tip line, but they have to understand that there's 1,000 people in there working, getting millions of calls a day.
There's 1,000 people working the phone lines, receiving millions of calls a day. Now, Sami, there's a problem with that. What we know is that the Sheriff's Department spokesman actually said in an official press conference that there was a person, an adult, who was telling people not to share their information with the cops. That there was a person in town telling people that had gone to the party, do not share your photographs and videos with the cops. So, aren't you 18? Millions of phone calls. I think the exact word that the information officer said was, there were 400 people at the party, and we've only been able to talk to a fraction of them. So, Sami, who are these millions of people calling the 1,000 workers manning the phone lines? And why would you want to say something that's so incorrect and implausible? Because you're constructing a narrative. You're weaving a tale. There's something that you want people to believe.
Day now.
I know you had stated that we're not trying to create any rumors, but there was something on the Facebook page that I wanted to see if maybe you can comment on this. It says 2 days ago on the Neighbors app at 1:00 in the morning, a topless female was being chased by a Honda CR-V and was pulled back into the vehicle in Sacramento, California. That's about an hour and 38 minutes away from Prosser Campground. Kylie drives the Honda CR-V. Her tank top was possibly found at the scene. I know we just discussed that. We can't verify that is true. Down the road from they're saying her tank top was found at the scene down the road from the Prosser Campground. The timestamps could be off due to a camera clock being accurate or inaccurate. But I don't know is there anything you can comment on that?
I also want to point out that about the same time as this story of somebody running down the road, there was also a story that came out of Carson, which is just, I think it's just west of Reno, like northwest of Reno, where in a silver SUV, a young girl with long strawberry blonde hair was blindfolded, and there were two people in the car with her, and there was a phone call made, but by the time the cops arrived, they were gone, and they never found it. So there were some, in the beginning, in the immediate days after, there were some unusual sightings. And this is one of the things that I really struggle with in terms of law enforcement, that they were very careful not to do an Amber Alert because they had no verification or guarantee that she had been abducted. But then they went right on 24 hours later and told us how they were treating it as an abduction. Well, that's just mindless to the way I think. I don't understand that. And especially when they get two sightings in the same 24-hour period, immediately after she goes missing, where there's a young woman with strawberry blonde hair in this silver, sport utility vehicle being somehow pursued or held against her will. Considering that the car has not been found, don't you think that is enough to go ahead and trigger the Amber Alert? Because they had people that were having sightings. What about the one at the gated community? What about that sighting? It's weird to me that you had 3 sightings all in a row, this 24-hour period, and it wasn't enough for Captain Sam Brown, Sheriff Shannon Moon, to pull the trigger on the Amber Alert. If they had done the Amber Alert, you would have had people in Nevada, California, Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Wyoming, Montana. They would all have had their eyes open, looking. Somewhere, some publication, they have put Kylie's date of death as August 7th. Isn't that interesting? On the celebration of life, they didn't give a date of death. They gave the date of birth, but not the date of death. If this investigation, if this county comes out and names this an accident, their politicians should request an internal investigation.
Yeah, so we are investigating into that currently, from my knowledge of the detectives, and
we are investigating. We are investigating that young woman running down the road being pursued in the middle of the night. We are investigating. I am the one to talk to. If you have evidence, come tell me. I will give it to the police. For some reason, this young woman believes that she's a member of law enforcement. Why? Wouldn't you expect that a young woman at a party where somebody had a terrible accident, wouldn't you expect that she would be afraid of being investigated? So why is she going on a YouTube channel and talking as if she is law enforcement? Why is she going up to a microphone in front of every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there ready to search, saying, leave, parents, go away, drop your kids off, and don't look back. I'm the only thing that they have to come to me. Everybody come to me. Tell me, I'm supposed to collect the information, give to the cops. Where was her fear? Where was her fear that the cops were going to listen to her talk like this and go, what the hell is this young woman saying? No, don't give the evidence to her. We don't want you telling her what happened. Tell us. We have a tip line. But she wasn't afraid. Why?
It has not been confirmed nor denied that if that is Kylie, but we do not believe that her shirt has not been found. I can confirm that her shirt was not found, nor were any articles of her clothing at all.
Okay, so I want to let's repeat that. The spaghetti strap shirt that was claimed to have been found, that was not hers.
No, it was not hers. It was investigated by the FBI and the cops and everything.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. So the spaghetti strap shirt, the top that was found, that did not belong to Kylie Rodney. Thank you for that, Sami.
Yeah.
So I can. So now when we watched the press conference, the police were saying that they're trying to get everyone that was at that party to come forward. So should we tell, should we get that message out as well to everybody that was at that party that they needed?
Yeah.
Who do they
shaking her head no
contact?
Well, I've been not in charge, but I've taken on the responsibility of trying to get in contact with everybody at that party. I've posted.
But remember, the information officer said we've only spoken to a fraction, and there is an adult telling people not to talk. But Sami put herself in charge of reaching out to everyone that was at the party. Where are the charges, Captain Sam Brown and Sheriff Shannon Moon? This looks like an obstruction problem, and you have an admission right here in this interview.
Did teen meetups, teen to teens, where there's no adults, no parents, and no media coverage. Everybody stays anonymous, and everybody does not get, like, everybody is just talking teen to teen. We have interviewers, only about 7 or 8 of us, and that's the limit we're trying to keep it at, to keep the information
7 or 8 to keep the information under control. Who do you suspect the 7 or 8 were? Sami, Mags, Sammy's brother, Jagger, Kate, the guy that was with Jagger and Kate in Reno. What about the tall Ukrainian girl, Sophie or Sophia? That would be 7. That would keep all of the information close in a small circle among those that may have had something to lose should the truth get out.
kind of in a simple one source area that we can go to, and we've moved locations multiple, trying to make things more convenient in the Tahoe area, in the Truckee area. We've held one last night, and then we held one tonight, and we had a lot of teens come out today and explain things. It's just a way for teens to not feel the pressure of getting in trouble by their parents, or to feel like the cops are going to get them in trouble, or to feel that the media will spread their face all over the internet. We're just trying to get teens to be honest, because kids will tell kids who they kissed, and kids will tell kids who they drank with, and
they don't want mom and dad to know what really happened at the party.
Exactly.
I totally get that, and that's good that you're doing that. Laura Truan just was in the comments. Laura Truan says you're doing a great job, Sami. So I'm trying to think, what else can you tell us that can help? Anything specific about that car? Is there anything like, I don't know, maybe did the car? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of us just remember today because, again, we weren't ever really looking severely at abuse.
So they all remembered at the same time? She said, a lot of us all remembered just today. So everybody it was just this weird kind of psychically connected moment where you all jumped up and said, oh, she's got a Ram sticker on her car.
When we were just friends with her, but we do all remember that she has a sticker of a bull. We don't have the exact sticker, but it's a sticker of a bull that is right under the windshield wiper. Right under that is where the back windshield, the animal. It's a sticker of a bull, the animal, like a cow with horns.
Okay.
Right under the back windshield wiper. It's right under that, and her car does have hubcaps, because in a lot of these pictures, cars don't have hubcaps. Her car has Honda hubcaps.
Okay. Wow. So look for that car that has it may have a bull sticker, a sticker of a bull on the back window, that 2013 Honda CRV. It's a silver car.
And there's a sunroof as well.
And it has a sunroof. Okay, that's another good detail. So it has a sunroof and it has a bull sticker. There's a sticker of a bull, the animal, a bull.
Or it's a ram.
Underneath the back wiper, the rear wiper.
Yes, right underneath it.
Okay. Jane Darby's wanting to ask you, anyone that you noticed hanging around her? Was there anybody was hanging around her? Did you notice anybody around her?
To be fully honest, I was inebriated at the time, so I wasn't
I get
fully attentive of who exactly was around us. When we were going around together, we were just in a lot of different huge groups of people we had never met, because her and I are similar in the sense that we're both very social. We'll talk to anybody we meet. We love meeting people, and so that's what we were doing and everything.
You girls are amazing. I'm just impressed, but it's so sad.
Relax, Tony. It's a little creepy now on hindsight.
that this has happened. I just, man, my heart goes out to the family. I just, you know, she's a beautiful young girl. She's only, I got a daughter the same age. Lord, I can't imagine what they're going through. I just can't imagine. I'm just trying to think. I'm assuming that they're checking mine shafts. Maybe the car went down off the road into a ravine. I don't know.
Yeah, wrong again. Every time he puts a possibility out there, she shakes her head no, like, no, that's not what happened to her.
But the phone, what about the phone? Can you tell us about her cell phone? Is there anything specific you can tell us? Go ahead.
So it has we're having trouble remembering what color. Like my cell phone is a green phone, but I have an orange case on it. But we do know that her phone has a black case on it with a sticker on the very middle back that says sex wax on it. And it's an iPhone, not the Samsung that was found. It's an iPhone.
So it's an iPhone.
I forget which generation and which like number, but I can post about that or something or get in contact with you.
Okay. Real quickly, Laura Truman wants to ask you, what about pictures and social media posts? There has to be evidence this party went down. I'm sure there's people taking photos or TikToks. I'm sure there's got to be a TikTok video of the fight or something, right? There's got to be something out there.
Yeah. So there's hundreds of videos. We have videos of people taking videos.
Oh, wow.
We have
very good. Very
hundreds
good.
Of videos.
Yeah, except that's a fantasy, right? It's not true. And that because we know what we know now, we go back to listen to what she said on August the 9th. Why is she so confident lying? That's my whole point. I'm not being accusatory toward her. I'm not saying she harmed Kylie. I'm saying she is saying things that are blatantly wrong, incorrect, false, right? And we know because of the information officer, other law enforcement, parents of Kylie, we know this is false. What she's saying is untrue. It's not real. And yet she's saying it. She's saying it with no fear. None. Why? Why is she saying this with zero fear? That is a good question to ask yourselves. Why isn't she afraid of the cops? Why isn't she afraid the police are going to come to her and say, hey, you know, we're sorry about your friend, but we're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. You're asking kids to come to you with evidence so that you can give it to us. And that's not what we've asked. We have a tip line. We have open communication with the community, and they know how to come to us. We've already told everybody there's not going to be any arrests. Nobody's going to get in trouble. Why are you interfering with that? Why are you putting out these images, these ideas, if there's all kinds of video out there, when you are the one that's told people not to bring video? Why are you? She has no fear of that scenario unfolding. Why? Well, if there's an adult, if there's a powerful adult helping them hide the terrible accident, then that would explain why she has no fear. This is a question to ask yourself. Where does this confidence come from with information that the cops can very easily say, hey, Sami, what you're saying is a bald-faced lie. Why are you doing it?
Videos, hundreds of pictures. We've asked everybody to send us any videos and any pictures that we have, even if it's a picture that looks exactly like something else sent us. It could have different angles. We are looking at an app called Be Real, which is where a lot of kids waited, because the Be Real, it's an app where you can post a picture, and there's 2 minutes at random points in the day. There's only one a day, and it comes as a notification will pop up on your phone that says you have 2 minutes left to post your BeReal. Like, everybody has, you can post it later in the time, but you're supposed to post in that time. We're looking at everybody's BeReals because we know a lot of people waited until they were at that party to post their BeReals. So we're looking for people to look back in their Snap memories of anybody that we can see in those videos, anybody that we can see in those BeReals. We are looking at Instagram posts, photos.
This is so surreal to listen to this child say this after knowing what the information officer, the FBI, the law enforcement has come out and voiced irritation that there is an adult in the community telling kids not to talk. Why is she saying something that is completely false? And that the officers have been vocal that none of the kids are cooperating, and that you and I can go on social media and see that these kids did not post photographs and videos. Why? Who the hell has the power to control 400 people? It's crazy. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answers to these things. I don't even have an answer or an idea of who does it. But here's what I do know. Someone must be perceived as being powerful, or you wouldn't have that many young people cooperating.
Photos taken on video cameras, photos taken on Snapchat, videos on all of these, and everything.
Okay. She lived fairly close. Is this picture correct? She was about 12 miles away. The Prosser family campground was roughly about 12 miles from her house. Is that correct?
That dot is not exactly where she was located. It's a little bit more to the right and towards the little blue lake that you can see up from it. It was a little bit closer to that lake, but definitely that's about, it would have taken about 30 minutes for her. We've found out about approximately 30 minutes for her to drive.
We have found out it would take approximately 30 minutes. We have found out. Sami, she was born in Truckee. She's lived there her whole life. You just told us that you're her great friend. You don't know where she lives? It's 12 miles from where the party was. You have just found out that it takes her 30 minutes to get home?
Drive that way, 38 maybe.
This is crazy.
God.
I mean, you knew her being a friend. I mean, your thoughts on her running away? Would she have a reason to run away? I'm just.
There's a hint of a smile trying to come out. I can't imagine what that is.
I'm just trying to come up with anything.
Did you see her? Kind of that smirk, kind of laugh, Weird.
That, I mean, it's just, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, what do you think?
To be fully honest,
To be fully honest? Well, sure, Sami. You should be fully honest, especially when your very good friend has gone missing. What does that mean, to be honest? Yes, be honest.
believe about Kylie, all ideas are still open in the air. But she's not the type of girl to run away. She loves people too much, and she has too much care in her heart to leave people and not leave a note or talk with one of her friends or something. And she is smart enough to know how this would get out and that people would be worried about her. And she's a smart girl. She graduated with honors early from high school and was going to attend college, and she had plans for her life, and she seemed really happy.
And I'm sure she wouldn't want to put her mom through this.
No,
her mom just is destroyed.
Her mom is her life. Her mom is fully invested in her life.
Her mom is fully invested in her life. How do you know that? You don't even know where she lives. What do you mean her mom is fully invested in her life? It's very odd. I don't know what it means. I don't. it seems, I don't know.
I could see that. I could see she's got very loving parents, and I could tell this is hard on them. And like I said, our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. We really want the best. We want Kylie to be found. DG's asking you, I think she's in the water, in the car, drove into water. Have they checked the water? I'm sure they probably have, but
Gosh. Well, I mean, I'm just going to let you guys do the talking. What do you think about that smile? Howdy, y'all. Duper's Delight. Ceresia says, oh my God. Cinnamon says, wow. Yeah. What do you think? Oh, what do you think about the water? Do you think she's in the water? And the response is for Sami to smile. Evil. What's up with the smirking? And Real Rockin' Robin says that she thinks that Sami is saying, oh, yeah, you can bet she's in the water. Looks like Chris Watts' smile on the porch. She thinks she's a unicorn. Teresa says she is way too organized in all of this. And Kathy R. says that Sami is thinking they are eating out of the palm of my hand. Right On says, yeah, the water. You can actually see it from the drone. Shelley says that question and look, when water was mentioned, she's involved, obviously. Tabitha says, wow. Body language with this interview was disturbing. Misty says she knows something. Billy says, oh my God, double indemnity. I feel ya. Elsa, the alleged friend who claims she saw Kylie at midnight at the party, has the same grin. Is that right, Muffin? I wonder where I could find that. Do you know? Could you get the link and email it to me so that I could see what Elsa was, how she was responding? Smug. Mary McGuire says smug. Very, very smug. Oh boy. NK vibes. The smile is like one that thinks they're going to get away with this. Amber Heard. Somebody said, how do you know she's in the water? She is a pillar of knowledge, Kelly. Yeah, it's crazy. So far, the Ukraine girl, Zanime cousin's daughter. Oh, that's Sophia, yeah. Calculating organized crime. I can try and find it. Thank you, Muffin. Yeah, I'd love to see it. So we can all see it. I didn't say anything, did I? I didn't say a word. I just said, okay, I'm going to let you guys talk. And you all said it. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. It's crazy.
Is there anything you can tell us about?
She's still smiling. Look at that. She went, yeah. Yeah, maybe she is in the water. It's chilling, terrifying.
Have they sent dive teams in, do you know, or anything like that? Or
Yeah, so there have been dive teams sent in, and I can pretty much only say they've done thorough.
Oh, they were thorough. They did thorough dives, guys. Don't worry. Just don't be concerned. The dive teams went in and they were thorough. It's an 18-year-old child that knows nothing. And she's going, oh, yeah, they did send dive teams in and they were so thorough. Please don't think that they would overlook the car and then redirect Adventures with Purpose to another lake. Please don't believe that. They were so thorough in looking near the party. They were so thorough. It's not good.
Searches through the waters, through the lakes surrounding. They are searching the waters. They are searching the campgrounds and everywhere, related lakes that are near, because Boca and Stampede are 2 reservoirs that are near there as well. And they are doing searches through there every single day. They have been for the past 3 days. They have done extensive searches to the points.
Extensive, thorough searches. She is excited about this searching in the waters. What do y'all think? I mean, she basically has just lit up in her excitement about what a great job they are doing searching. Did y'all notice that? As soon as they start talking about the water, she comes alive. Exactly, Debbie Rose. Yeah. Oh, she's letting us know, don't even think about the waters, guys. They have searched them so completely, no chance that they're at the water.
So you wouldn't even believe the FBI and those people they are going.
I'm impressed with what I've seen. I've seen some of the photos of the search guy, the search and rescue crews out there, the volunteers, and no, I'd seen they got a heavy presence. They're working it. They're definitely working it.
And we're so thankful to them.
Oh yeah, they're definitely working hard to try to find her, and we watch the flight patterns. They got a helicopter. I don't know. Can you comment on the helicopter? Is there something? Is there a reason they're flying in that area?
Yeah,
I don't know. What's going on? Go ahead.
Yeah, so they're flying helicopters around those areas because if they're shining spotlights down to see if there's any reflection, to find her car, to see if they see anybody. We're taught here in Truckee that during the winter, in case there's an avalanche or you're trapped out in the winter, that you can shine a reflective light, like using your phone screen and shining it towards the sun to say an SOS, or to let helicopters and airplanes know that you are out there, and to signal somebody from the ground if you're able to. That's something we're taught from a very young age in our school system.
That'll be very interesting. That's very good.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's very interesting. You taught me something.
Why would
I live
you
in the
know
desert.
It,
We don't worry
Tony?
about snow.
Oh, you live in the desert, but you're in Truckee,
but no, I know
right
where you're at.
then,
I've been there a bunch of times, and I know they get a ton of snow up there. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But no, that makes perfect sense.
Oh,
so they're flying around looking. So the car's nowhere in the area. She's got to be out there somewhere. Can you share your honest thoughts or opinion as to what you think may have happened to her? Do you care to share that?
Remember, he wants honest.
To be fully honest, my biggest concern is that somebody, and I've said this in other interviews, somebody knew she was drunk, offered to give her a ride home, and they didn't give her a ride home. And they could be across the world at this point with how long she's been gone. And
okay, so this was someone from Sacramento that was old, that nobody knew, who was being very loud and very weird, and took her and then flew her all the way to Saudi Arabia. That's what she wants you to believe.
I'm worried that I have a feeling, and obviously, I don't know. I have a feeling that she is still alive and she's still out there and she's still fighting. But
now I think it's interesting. It's an interesting comment to make. It is a comment that we often hear a mother say. No, I believe my child's still alive. I would feel it, if she wasn't. She makes this as an 18-year-old who's only really been friends with Kylie a week. And Jagger makes that same exact comment. Oh, she's still alive. I can feel it. I know she's alive. Well, if they're trying to trick people from an awareness, consciousness of guilt, knowing that she's not alive, then they would certainly not want to admit that, right? So by saying, oh, I'm going to Reno to look for her, well, you must believe she's alive, or why would you say, let's go to Reno? It's just trying to pretend to act like what an innocent person would, I think.
there's
And again, let me be
somebody.
clear. I'm not saying she did anything. I'm not saying she caused harm. I'm talking about just being aware that Kylie may not still be alive would change her behavior. So it wouldn't even have anything to do with like whether she caused it or hurt her. It's just I'm just talking about her awareness.
Somebody else involved, and that's not confirmed. That's just what I believe. I think there has to be somebody else involved in this.
I do too,
But
Sammy.
yeah,
It's just so sad. You know, Rhonda's wanting to ask you, did she wear an Apple Watch? Do you know? Did she wear an Apple Watch?
We're smiling again. I don't know why. Why is she smiling at that question? Listen to her answer.
no, I don't believe so. I don't remember ever seeing her wear one. It's not something I pay really close attention to. And we're not the type to be like, oh, look at what I have on my wrist. I'm so rich, you know.
You're not that kind? Oh, look what I have on my wrist. I'm so rich. I don't know. That necklace that she wore around her neck was probably if it was 14 karat gold, at least $4,000.
So
Yeah, I know you girls are amazing. You seem like
Oh,
wonderful
those
people.
girls. Tony, you're such a great guy. Those girls are just amazing.
I'm so sorry that you're going through this. Romans 125:26 wants to know, was there any cameras at the campground going into the campground? Is there any cameras there?
No, but we do know where the cameras are located because
no, there's no
every 18-year-old girl knows where all the cameras are located.
cameras out there. The closest cameras would be the traffic cameras that start on I-80 near the rec center. It's hard to describe exactly where, but I think it's on Truckee Way. But it's 89 is very covered in cameras. There's not a lot of cameras out there.
That was really great that you know that. That's really great for an 18-year-old girl to know where the traffic cameras are located.
Shani Jones wants to ask you, on your last call, did she let you know who the quote unquote friend was that was driving her home?
Yeah, so this is a common misconception. She was not being driven home and she was not driving. So, okay. At the end of the party when I saw her, she was supposed to give me a ride home because I had asked her to give me a ride home because I wanted to stay later. I then realized later in the party that I believe she was drunk, and I knew she was drunk, and so I did not want her to be driving me home, because I know about drunk drivers and all that.
Okay, but she was a really good friend, and were you worried about her safety? You're going to actively go around in this wild, overwhelming, weird party where all kinds of drugs and all kinds of older people are, and you're going to go seek out a different ride because she's too drunk to drive, but didn't you care if she was alive? Didn't you feel responsible to help her not be dead?
And so
Smart.
and I figured she would be staying there or she would find a ride home because she's a smart girl. She's smart enough to know she's smart. And so then I found her as I was leaving the party. I was making sure to find her to tell her that I had another ride home and that I loved her and I wanted to say bye and for her to have fun at the party. And then when I left the party, we were pretty much on 89 with my ride. And she called me as I was in the car in the passenger seat, and she was like, "Hey, where are you? Do you still need a ride home?" And I was like, "No, I'm okay. Like, I'm in the car right now. I'm like getting driven home now." But Kylie did not have a set ride home.
Okay, can somebody help me understand this? So she found Kylie to say, I have a different ride. I'm going home. But she told Kylie she needed a ride because she wanted to stay later. But she's actually now wanting to leave before Kylie. And she finds Kylie and she says, I've got a ride. I'm leaving. Kylie says, okay. They hug and kiss and say, I love you. Be safe. Sami, with her imaginary ride, leaves. She's in the passenger seat. I don't know why I thought about sitting in the passenger seat, but then I didn't sit in the passenger seat. I don't know. Anyway, she's in the passenger seat driving home, and Kylie calls her and says, "Hey, where you at? You need a ride home?" And she says, "No, I'm already on my ride home. Be safe." What? What are you talking about? You just told us that you told her before you left that you had another ride and you're leaving. And y'all hugged and said goodbye, blah, blah, blah. Now you're saying minutes later she calls and says, "Hey, where are you? Don't you need a ride home?" What's the truth, Sami?
And I was under the impression that she would either sleep there or find another ride home. And it was not known that anybody was going to give her a ride home. She was not.
400 people. And Sami has verified that not a single one of them had the slightest idea that Kylie was going to drive home. And there's not a single video or photograph of the party. But they got 1 million phone calls coming in. They got 1,000 people working the lines.
Not when she called me, she was not in a car. I could hear the party and many people talking in the back.
Okay, now guys, don't think anything about me, because listen, when Kylie called me at 12:36, 3 minutes after her phone, someone turned it off. But magically, it called me. And she was not in her car underwater. She was not in her car saying, "Oh my God, I'm in the water. What am I going to do?" I was not in the car with her getting out and swimming in the water as the car went down. None of those things happened. I heard the party. I heard many people talking. Where is law enforcement? Where are they?
Background.
Oh, wow. So we don't really have a lot to go on then as far as where she could be. There's no nothing. So we're just going to keep following this. And it's very possible that maybe somebody did abduct her, that maybe somebody was watching her. I mean, it's just a sad possibility, but my goodness, our hearts. I don't know. Is anything else you'd like to say before we let you go? I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you tied up with us, but I greatly appreciate all your time. Sami, you're an amazing girl. I know you got a great future ahead of you. Stay strong.
So let's talk about that great future for a few minutes. So I told you about Philip, the lobster thief, and the horrible end that he met, that really lies at the feet of law enforcement and federal agencies that failed to enforce the law. And they established an atmosphere in the little fishing town of lawlessness, and people that were legitimate business people trying to make a living, they were going broke because the criminals were acting with impunity and nobody was holding them to task, until finally, one day it all erupted. Bill. So one of the problems with a cover up. So we all love our kids, right? Let's just be honest. We all love our kids. We all want our kids to do well. None of us want our children, whether they're 30, 50, 80 years old, we don't want our kids to go to jail ever. The problem is this. We're nobody. I'm a nobody. Okay. I don't know what the reality is there in California. I don't know what the facts are. I'm not there gathering information and data, but the cops know that's their job. The FBI was there for a while. Here's the problem. if you're local law enforcement or you're a powerful politician or whatever, and you have some cause to protect these kids, let's say a terrible accident happened, there was an accidental discharge of a firearm. That's just an example. No one has said a word about a firearm. This is only an example from me. Let's say there's an accidental discharge firearm, accidentally shoots Kylie, breaks out the window in the car, and then they say, oh my God, what are we going to do? And they call dad or uncle or mom or whoever happens to be affiliated with the police department or whoever. And together, a few of the local police or parents say, this is a terrible thing that happened, but it was 100% accidental. All the kids are saying it was accidental. We're going to have a couple of kids going to jail for manslaughter. This is wrong. It's just wrong. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't let this happen. And together, maybe, perhaps, they make a fateful decision to save the kids. That it was a terrible accident, should never have happened, but save the kids. They're not criminal. They don't deserve to go to prison, right? Here's a problem with doing that. The kids that were, hypothetically involved, they learn that the rules don't apply to them. And rather than learning to trust in law, they learn to do whatever the hell they want to do and then lie about it and cover it up. So you don't save your child from one bad mistake. You actually teach your child to commit many bad mistakes in the future. This time, perhaps you saved your child when there was an accidental discharge of your firearm. Not that you meant it. But then when dad comes in and does a cover up to try to save all these other kids, you may actually be teaching your kid that, the next time they get angry at their girlfriend, they might have to have another accidental discharge of their firearm. That's the problem with covering up crimes, letting kids do whatever they want to do and letting them get away with it with no kind of answer responsibility for their own behavior. They don't get that corrective learning experience. And it's not that they just get away with it. It's actually that it actually reinforces the violent behavior, that it increases the likelihood of the same type of criminal behavior to occur sometime in the future. Don't cover this up. Kylie doesn't deserve to be labeled a drunk driver. She deserves to be remembered exactly what she was, a brilliant, talented young woman. Save your own kids by getting them a really great attorney and trusting the legal system. If you tell the truth, if there's evidence of the truth, then a judge is going to look at the evidence, going to listen to all these kids, all these eyewitnesses, and they're going to look at school records and whatnot. And they're going to say, this kid has never been in trouble before. I think it really legitimately was a terrible accident. Let's do a year or two of probation and move on. Go to school, make good grades, have a good life. That's the way to handle it for your children. But you cover this up, all you're doing is reinforcing to your child that they can engage in criminal behavior that can hurt someone, maim them, even kill them, and never be held accountable for it. It's the affluence problem, isn't it? Instead of influenza, you have affluenza. The illness is, being a spoiled little rich kid. But it's not a privilege of wealth to get your kids out of trouble. you're damning your child to future bad behavior, and that child will get themselves into a position that your wealth is not going to get them out of. So right now, while they're still a good kid, right now, while they still can stand there and legitimately say it was a horrible accident, do it. Take a deep breath and have courage and do the right thing. All right. I'm done. These are my thoughts. These are my reactions as a person. These are my opinions. I do not have any additional information that you guys don't have. Okay. I'm just voicing my opinion. That's all. Nothing more and nothing less. This is a public interview that Sami did back on August the 9th. Her parents were aware of it, and she put it out there for public commentary. I'm giving my reaction to this interview. Okay. All right. I hope you guys, I hope you at least learned something about accountability, right? About hey, Sami Sparrow, how are you? It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. Um, it is a scary thing. It is a scary thing when our kids stumble into a problem. And they do it. I did it. I stumbled into trouble. You stumbled into trouble, right? It's part of growing up. But the lesson that you teach is not, you don't want to teach your kids that they can act in the most destructive, dangerous ways and not be held accountable. You do not want that kid. All right. I agree with so many points you made, Jules. This was excellent. Thank you so much, Donna. Um, because of her decision, she could possibly be in trouble. And Kylie, it's already gone and not coming back. So it's easier for her to just go along with the accident theory. Sure, AT, I can accept that. No, yeah, I can see that. Hey, Brian Dodd, welcome. Nobody is perfect. That is exactly right. Why is everyone saying Kylie's mom is in shady stuff? What did I miss? I don't know. I don't know. Not heard anything like that. I don't know. Don't. I don't know. I can't get in that conversation. Um, Welcome from the UK. Valerie was somebody. I didn't know that anybody was bashing California overall. In my opinion, this case has to do with very large trust that was due to Kylie when the lodge sold her mother once. Yeah, I think a lot of people were a bit surprised by Kylie's wealth, right? And I thought that it might be the lodge, that maybe the grandfather left the lodge to Kylie and her brother. This is a sad situation. It really is, Serene. Shelley said, I didn't just stumble into trouble. I drove head first right into it. Sound like you had fun too, Shelley. Tony is a sicko, was 100% hired. I don't know what you're talking about, Alessia. I don't know what that means. Where did a bunch of kids under 21 get alcohol? Is that the adult telling kids not to talk? I don't know, Jana Banana. I've heard some people, doing lives that have sort of been talking about that. Maybe I will say that I mean, I think all of us, if we were to look back over our high school years, we can probably identify adults or families in the community that were, buying kegs for parties and things like that. Yeah. Um, so, maybe, but I don't know. The lodge is up for sale, something like $1.9 million. You're welcome, Rockin' Robin. She sits in a treetop all day long. I can't sing. It's too late at night. Hey, Turquoise, how are you? Okay, y'all. I got to get some sleep. It's late here. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you have not subscribed, I hope you will. I also would like to invite you to hit the thumbs up to help me out with the algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is not showing me much love lately, but you know what? I have faith. And a little thumbs up from you could be a big help with the algorithm. So I hope you will. Um, if you dislike anything I've said tonight, if you have an alternative theory, or if you just agree with some of the opinions that I gave, I hope you'll leave a comment under the video. I'd really like to read your thoughts and whatnot, see what you think about it all. Okay. Um, Muffin Top is supposed to send me a video. I'll go over it tomorrow, and then the uh, the interview with SF Investigates, that will be the next. That will be the next one that I want to go through and react to. SF is some of his body language and answers were curious. So yeah, and not saying that. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that uh, Sami hurt anyone. I'm not saying that SF hurt anyone. My position is they seem to know something, which is definitely a far cry from, oh, I was responsible. I'm not saying they're responsible, but I think both of them provide responses that really feel like they have an awareness of knowledge. That's my position. And if they do, then the proper thing to do is to go to Sheriff Shannon Moon and tell her the truth. That's the proper thing. That's the thing that's going to keep you out of trouble, right? All right. I got to go to sleep. You guys are awesome. Thank y'all for being here. Hit subscribe, thumbs up or thumbs down, and leave me a message. And if you do those three things, those magical three things, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have sweet dreams tonight. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.